You're staring at a map of Europe. 21 miles of water separate you from an island that's been standing for 1,000 years. Unconquered. It looks simple. It looks doable. Every military superpower in history thought the same thing. They were all wrong. Because the moment you decide to invade Britain, you're not planning a military operation. You're signing your own death warrant, and here's what makes it beautiful. This isn't luck, isn't propaganda, isn't British exceptionalism. It's pure, brutal physics mixed with 5 centuries of naval doctrine designed to do one thing: kill everything that tries to cross. Spain tried. Their armada became driftwood. Napoleon planned for years, then quietly gave up. Hitler's generals looked at the map and politely suggested Operation Sea Lion was German for assisted suicide. The UK isn't just hard to invade. It's a geographical middle finger to military ambition, wrapped in fog, defended by physics, and backed by weapon systems that can end civilizations from beneath the ocean without ever surfacing. Let's find out why the British Isles remain the world's most unassailable fortress, and why even thinking about invasion is basically volunteering for a masterclass in humiliation. Before we dive into Britain's fortress architecture, quick favor: if you're enjoying this breakdown of military strategy and geopolitics, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below and tell us, do you think any modern military could actually pull off a UK invasion? Or is this truly impossible? We read every comment, and honestly, some of you have insights that could teach generals a thing or two. All right, let's get into why the English Channel is basically nature's kill zone. First, let's talk about Britain's oldest and nastiest bodyguard, the English Channel, 21 miles at its narrowest point. Doesn't sound like much, does it? You could swim that. Olympic athletes have done it. How hard could it be to cross with a modern military fleet? Here's what the maps don't show you. The English Channel is not water. It's a trap disguised as water. Think of it as a 21-mile wide blender set to liquefy armies. 3 seas converge here: the Atlantic, the North Sea, and the waters of the Celtic Basin. When their tides collide, they create current patterns so chaotic that even modern supercomputers struggle to predict them accurately. One moment you're crossing calm waters. The next, you're riding 8-meter swells that appeared from nowhere because 2 opposing tides just decided to have a fistfight directly under your landing craft. And here's the truly evil genius of it. These conditions change by the hour. Launch your fleet at dawn under clear skies, and by noon, you could be fighting horizontal rain, 0 visibility, and waves that flip landing craft like pancakes. The same storm systems that ruined British barbecues for centuries have been sinking invasion fleets since before gunpowder was invented. Temperature? The water averages around 10 degrees Celsius, cold enough that anyone going overboard has maybe 30 minutes before hypothermia turns them into a popsicle in body armor. Your invasion force isn't just crossing water, they're crossing liquid hypothermia. But wait, there's more. Because beneath that already nightmarish surface lies another problem: the seafloor itself. Sandbars that shift monthly, tidal currents that can drag a fully loaded landing craft miles off course, shallow water zones that force large vessels into predictable, narrow approach lanes where they move at walking speed, completely exposed, unable to maneuver. In 1588, the Spanish Armada, 130 ships strong, the most powerful fleet assembled in human history up to that point, got absolutely demolished by these waters. The English naval guns hurt them, sure, but the Channel itself finished the job, scattering their formation, driving ships into rocks, turning their grand invasion into a maritime disaster that Spain never fully recovered from. Napoleon spent years planning to cross, built an entire fleet of flat-bottom barges, rehearsed the landing, and then took one good look at the Channel, realized his boats would sink before reaching the halfway point, and quietly shelved the whole thing. The man conquered half of Europe, but he couldn't conquer 21 miles of angry water. Okay, let's say you're incredibly lucky. You pick the one perfect day of the year when the Channel is calm. Congratulations. Now you get to meet Britain's second line of defense, the Royal Navy, an institution that has spent 500 years perfecting one very specific skill: killing anything that tries to reach British shores. This isn't just any navy. This is the navy that gave us Trafalgar, Jutland, the sinking of the Bismarck. This is a naval force with institutional memory stretching back to the days when ships were made of wood and victory depended on who could reload cannons faster. And that institutional knowledge has been continuously updated with every technological leap since. Today, the Royal Navy operates over 70 vessels, including 2 Queen Elizabeth-class aircraft carriers. These aren't just ships, they're floating air bases, each one carrying dozens of F-35B Lightning II stealth fighters that can take off vertically, vanish from radar, and deliver precision strikes before you even know they're airborne. Each carrier displaces 65,000 tons and can operate anywhere on Earth. They don't just defend the Channel, they project British power from the Arctic Circle to the South China Sea. Then, you've got the Type 45 destroyers, equipped with the Samson radar system, one of the most advanced air defense arrays on the planet. These ships can track hundreds of targets simultaneously and engage them with Sea Viper missiles that have a 95% hit rate. Think of them as maritime bouncers with perfect aim and zero tolerance for uninvited guests. And frigates. The Type 23s, and soon Type 26 frigates, designed specifically for anti-submarine warfare. They hunt submarines the way sharks hunt seals, silently, relentlessly, and with extreme prejudice. But the real nightmare, the submarines, specifically the Astute-class attack submarines. These are hunter-killer subs so quiet they're nicknamed black holes by foreign navies, because once they disappear beneath the surface, they're functionally invisible. They can track enemy vessels for weeks without being detected, listening to everything, mapping every movement, waiting for the order to strike. Here's the tactical reality. Any invasion fleet crossing the Channel must move slowly, predictably, in formation, through waters the Royal Navy has mapped down to the centimeter. The defenders can position submarines along approach routes, lay mobile mines, coordinate surface vessels and aircraft, all while the invasion fleet crawls forward at 15 knots, completely exposed, unable to hide or maneuver. Modern naval warfare isn't about fair fights. It's about seeing first and shooting first. And in the Channel, Britain sees everything. Alright, maybe you've got a superpower backing you. Maybe you've neutralized the Navy somehow. Maybe you've achieved the impossible and landed troops on British soil. Now you've triggered Britain's ultimate failsafe, nuclear retaliation. Somewhere in the world's oceans, right now, there is a British ballistic missile submarine on patrol. You don't know where it is. Your satellites can't track it. Your intelligence agencies can't locate it. Even the British Prime Minister doesn't know its exact position. That's the point. Each Vanguard-class submarine, soon to be replaced by the Dreadnought class, carries 16 Trident II D5 missiles. Each missile can carry multiple independently targetable warheads. Each warhead is 100 kilotons. For context, the bomb that destroyed Hiroshima was 15 kilotons. Do the math. This is called continuous at-sea deterrent, and it operates on one principle. No matter what happens to Britain, no matter how devastating a surprise attack, one submarine will always survive to deliver retaliation. The attackers' capital cities don't just get damaged, they stop existing. An invasion of Britain isn't a military operation. It's an existential threat to the British state, and British nuclear doctrine is crystal clear. Existential threats trigger strategic response. Translation: someone's cities turn into glass parking lots. Even if you somehow destroyed every British airbase, sank every surface ship, knocked out every command center, that submarine is still out there, still armed, still autonomous, still carrying enough firepower to end civilizations. You can gamble against Britain's army. You can gamble against its air force. But you cannot gamble against guaranteed mutual destruction delivered from beneath the ocean by a submarine captain whose last orders were, if Britain falls, make them regret it. Let's talk about the tech that makes modern invasion not just difficult, but borderline fantasy. Start with surveillance. Britain operates a layered reconnaissance network that blankets the Channel and approaches. Satellites track fleet movements from space. Maritime patrol aircraft, the P-8 Poseidon, equipped with radar that can spot a periscope from miles away, patrol constantly. Underwater hydrophones detect submarine signatures. Coastal radar installations map every aircraft and surface vessel in real time. You cannot surprise Britain. The era of unexpected landings ended with World War II. Today, an invasion fleet is detected the moment it leaves port, tracked across every mile of ocean, and met with coordinated response before it reaches British territorial waters. Then there's Dragonfire, Britain's prototype laser weapon system. Yes, lasers. This isn't science fiction, it's operational technology, capable of burning drones and missiles out of the sky at the speed of light, at a cost of roughly 10 pounds per shot. While you're launching million-dollar cruise missiles, Britain is swatting them down with directed energy that costs less than a nice dinner. Air defense? The RAF operates a fully integrated network, linking ground-based radar, airborne early warning aircraft, and interceptor squadrons that can scramble within minutes. Any hostile aircraft approaching British airspace gets detected, identified, and if necessary, engaged before it crosses the coastline. The Type 45 destroyers mentioned earlier, their air defense systems can create a protective bubble covering thousands of square kilometers. Try flying through it without permission, and you'll find out why Sea Viper missiles have a near-perfect track record. And if you think you can hack your way in, good luck with that. GCHQ, Britain's Signals Intelligence Headquarters, is one of the most sophisticated cyber warfare organizations on Earth. These are the people who can intercept communications, disrupt networks, and launch offensive cyber attacks that turn enemy systems into expensive paperweights. Britain doesn't just defend against cyber attacks, it launches them. The National Cyber Force can disable enemy satellites, fry communication grids, inject false data into targeting systems, and generally make sure your invasion fleet spends more time fighting its own computers than fighting British forces. But let's ignore all of that. Let's pretend you've somehow neutralized the Navy, avoided nuclear retaliation, and established air superiority. Congratulations. Now comes the actually impossible part, logistics. An invading army needs supplies, lots of them. A single division, roughly 15,000 soldiers, consumes over 400,000 pounds of supplies daily. Fuel, ammunition, food, water, medical supplies, spare parts, all of it must cross the channel on slow, vulnerable transport ships that move at walking speed and light up on radar like Christmas trees. Here's the kill chain. Transport ships must approach through monitored waters. They must slow down as they reach shallow coastal zones. They must navigate narrow approach lanes where they cannot maneuver. They must anchor or beach to offload cargo. During all of this, they are sitting ducks for missiles, artillery, airstrikes, and submarine torpedoes. One disabled ship blocking a narrow approach lane doesn't just slow the invasion, it stops it, because the ships behind can't go around, can't reverse course quickly, and are now trapped in a traffic jam that British forces can systematically destroy at leisure. And even if supplies make it to shore, Britain's interior mobility means defenders can concentrate forces faster than invaders can push inland. The invasion crawls, the defense sprints, the math is fatal. Every military planner searching for invasion beaches runs into the same problem. There aren't any good ones. Over 90% of Britain's coastline is completely unsuitable for large-scale amphibious assault. Cliffs, rocky shorelines, marshland, tidal mud flats. The few beaches capable of handling heavy equipment are clustered in predictable locations. Kent, Sussex, parts of East Anglia, southwest approaches. Every one of these beaches has been studied for centuries. The British know exactly where you're coming. They've prepared accordingly. Take the Dover area, white cliffs rising over 100 meters, offering defenders elevated firing positions with clear sightlines for miles. Any landing force hits the beach and immediately fights uphill against enemies they can't see until it's too late. Or the marshlands of East Anglia. At high tide, they're flooded. At low tide, they're soft mud that swallows vehicles. Tanks don't advance, they sink. Infantry doesn't charge. It slogs through chest-deep muck while getting shelled from dry ground. Britain's tidal range is among the highest in Europe. At low tide, landing craft can be stranded hundreds of meters from shore, forcing troops to cross open mud under fire. At high tide, those same areas are deep water, making timing everything, and timing perfection impossible. The historical record is unambiguous. Since 1066, exactly 0 successful cross-channel invasions. Not because nobody tried, because the channel and British defenses make success mathematically impossible. The Spanish Armada, destroyed. Napoleon, never attempted. Hitler, cancelled before launch. William of Orange in 1688 doesn't count. He was invited by political factions during a civil crisis. That's not an invasion. That's a polite regime change with paperwork. Every empire that tried learned the same lesson. Britain isn't protected by luck. It's protected by physics, geography, and a defense doctrine refined over centuries, specifically to break invasion attempts before they reach sand.